Alright, this is Weapon X Reacts and we're back with another video, and this is gonna be a review of Good Time, which is a film directed by the Safdie brothers, and to me, this is honestly one of the most stressful movies that I have ever seen in my life. And it really shows just how good the Safdie brothers are as directors. And it's a film that I totally recommend that you should go check out once in your life, as it's going to be an experience that you will never forget. And I am just going to let you know that there will be a lot of spoilers in this review. I'm gonna break down the plot of this film. So, after a bank robbery goes wrong, Koninige's younger brother, Nick, is arrested and sent to prison. Desperate to get him out, Connie does everything he can to pay for Nick's bail. And if there was one thing I really liked about this film, is that it's just so entertaining to watch, but just so well directed at the same time. And I thought some of the acting performances were really well done, especially from Robert Pattinson as Connie Niguez. And to me, this is honestly one of his best performances, as he really proved just how good of an actor he can be. And he does such an amazing job at portraying his character as a narcissistic criminal who will do whatever it takes to achieve his goals. And when we first see him in the opening scene of the film, it starts off with his intellectually challenged brother having a therapy session, until it gets interrupted by Connie Niguez, who tells him to cancel the therapy session. But as the film goes on, you start to realize that the main reason on why he took him out of his therapy session in the first place was all for a bank robbery. And to me, this was a perfect introduction into who Connie Niguez is as a person and the powerful relationship that he has with his brother. And not just that, but it perfectly sets up everything for the film you are about to see. And I am not gonna lie to you right now, this film was a wild fucking ride. And it's definitely gonna stay with you long after it's over. I want to talk about his childhood for a bit, as it really adds a lot to his character in a way. And the film implies that he grew up living with his grandmother, all due to the fact that his father passed away when he was very young. And not just that, but his mother had issues with substance abuse. And to me, the most interesting thing about all of this is that he was raised in a very difficult environment. And it all ended up with him becoming angry and deciding to take his frustrations out on Nick. And not just that, but it's also revealed that when he was a young man, he used to work at a car dealership that was owned by his uncle. And to me, it really adds a lot to the reason on why he became a con artist in the first place, and why he always takes care of his brother so much throughout the movie. One of the most interesting things about him as a character is the way in how he tries to use manipulation in order to get what he wants. And you can really see this from the way in how he treats his brother. And Wally tries to do everything he can to get him out of prison. It doesn't excuse the fact that he used his brother's disorder in order to drag him into a life of crime. And it really shows that he is a man who is trapped by his own mistakes. And not just that, but he even sees himself as better than everyone else. And the scene between him and Ray is a perfect example of just how narcissistic he can be. And I just want to say that the acting between him and Buddy Derez was just so well done, and it's actually kind of realistic in a way. If there was one thing I really liked about Robert Pattinson's performance, is the way in how he brings so much depth and complexity into this character. And I even heard that his performance was heavily inspired by people like Charles Manson, for example. And overall, Connie Niquez is a deeply flawed character. And Robert Pattinson honestly makes this movie even better than it already is with his performance. As it really shows that he is more than just another Hollywood pretty boy, but an actor that can do such an amazing job at playing complex characters. And this film is a perfect example of that. And I even heard that his performance in this movie was one of the main reasons on why Matt Reeves decided to choose him to play the role of Bruce Wayne in The Batman. And to me, one of the biggest reasons on why Connie Niquez is so compelling as a character is the way in how he is a victim of the environment that he tried so hard to be a part of. Benny Safdie did such an amazing job playing Rick, even if he wasn't in the film that much. And he is portrayed as being the brother to Connie Niquez. And if there was one thing I really liked about his performance, is the way in how he brings so much depth and vulnerability into the role, especially when you realize that his character was brought into a life of crime and it nearly cost him his life. And to me, one of the best things about this movie is that it does such a great job at showing how different they are from each other. As he represents the pure, while Connie Niquez represents the damned. And it really adds a lot to everything that this movie is about. And overall, this is honestly one of Benny Safdie's best performances, as it's a perfect example on why he is one of the best actors working in Hollywood today. And he did a pretty good job directing this movie along with his brother. And not just that, but the supporting cast also do a great job playing their characters, especially from Jennifer Jason Leigh and Buddy Derez, for example, even if they weren't in the film that much. I thought the direction by the Safdie brothers was just so well done, as they did such a great job at telling a story that is both stressful but just so compelling at the same time. And it's a perfect example on why they are one of the best directors in the history of cinema. And I totally recommend that you should go check out some of their other films like Uncut Gems, for example, as it's just as stressful as this film and it's going to be a wild ride. The cinematography is honestly one of the main reasons on why this film is so good, as it gives the film a very realistic and gritty feel, especially when it comes to the use of neon lighting, for example. And not just that, but it makes scenes feel even more intense than they already are. And I even heard that this was the same cinematographer that worked with the Safdie brothers on a lot of their films. And to me, I thought he did a pretty good job with this movie, as it fits perfectly with the film's tone and its story. The Sprite scene is honestly one of the film's most intense moments. And this goes the same way with the first robbery scene. And I am not gonna lie to you right now. This movie made me respect Robert Pattinson a lot more now as an actor. And to me, it's definitely up there as being one of the greatest performances in the history of independent cinema. And it really proves that this film is just an absolute masterpiece that needs to be seen. This is the rating that this film got on Rotten Tomatoes, so 91% from the critics and 82% from the audience. And I am going to read out the reviews right now. So for the first one, Good Time grabs the viewer by the back of the head like it has a full fist of hair and drags us along. For the second review, anchored by a career best performance by Robert Pattinson, it is an unforgettable work that will rattle you in all the best ways. For the third review, this sleazy, bleak, and primal, low budget crime thriller feels like a cinematic punch in the face. For the fourth one, an aesthetically nostalgic crime thriller with a career changing performance by Robert Pattinson and an effective direction from the Safdie brothers. For the fifth one, Good Time really isn't a good time at the movies, but it's worth watching to see a cold-eyed, street-level deconstruction of a night and life of crime. And that is something I most definitely agree with, and as I read these reviews, this film is most definitely worth all the praise that it's getting from critics, as it's just so entertaining to watch. And it does such a great job at being a social commentary on class structure and the dark side of the American dream as a whole. I thought the soundtrack was just so well done, as it really adds a lot to the tone of the film. And I'm gonna show you an example of it right now. This film was massively underrated, man. Like, really, you don't see films like this anymore, and I even heard that Their new film, Marty Supreme, has just come out, and I really want to see that movie because it's getting a lot of awards, and I heard that Timothée Chalamet also gives a great performance. And despite the fact that the brothers have split up, they still make great movies. And that goes the same way, especially when you look at the Coen brothers, for example, as they really prove that they can do a great job with solo projects. Soundtrack to this film is just a fucking banger. This film was fun and enjoyable. You can really thank the Safdie brothers for doing that. They're honestly one of the best filmmakers working in Hollywood right now. Go watch Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. And if there's one thing I really like about them as directors is that they can really do a good job of making actors give their best performances. You can really see that with Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, for example. But Robert Pattinson, he proved that he can do more than just being the actor that was in Twilight. Because that film messed up his life. I'm like, thank fuck he finally got a chance to prove himself by taking independent projects like this. Like every single scene in this movie is not even wasted. It's also intense too. I can see why critics like this movie. Not because it's entertaining or anything, but because it says something deep. If you're looking for a film that stays away from all the woke bullshit that Hollywood pushes, go watch this one. It's worth it. I'm going to explain the ending of this film. So, after the argument between Ray and Connie Niguez, we see a shot of him trying to sell the LSD to the drug dealer until he realizes that he doesn't have the money that he promised. But after being told to come back with $1,500, he tells Ray that he is actually going to get a gun. After realizing that he is going to get caught, we see a shot of Connie Niguez trying to escape the hotel along with the drugs. But as the drug dealer returns, he is immediately attacked by Ray. And as he tries to run into the apartment, he looks into the window and sees Connie Niguez being caught by the police. And after he's being put into the car, we see a shot of Ray standing out of the apartment, and he immediately starts to fall down to his death. Honestly, every single scene in this movie is just so well done due to how intense it is. After that, we see a shot of Connie Niguez thinking about what he did as he is being sent to jail. And I just want to say that Robert Pattinson's acting in the scene is honestly some of the best acting I have ever seen in a film. All because he is finally realizing that he has betrayed everyone that he came across. And it's a perfect example of just how manipulative he can be. And the film ends with his brother joining a therapy class. And it shows that he has finally found a chance to be at peace and redemption. And to me, this was a perfect ending to a film like this, as it felt so realistic. And it really shows that the Safdie brothers are just the best when it comes to telling stories that are both gritty but compelling at the same time. And this film is a perfect example of that. Go watch this film. It's worth watching.
You're incredible. Do you understand? Yeah. I'm serious. You think I could have done that without you standing next to me being strong? Are you feeling this? Are you feeling because I'm feeling right now? Yeah, I'm cold. You're cold? Yeah. Let's get to the chicken, man. Just keep your head down. Turn around. He's all right, man. Oh, get back here. So I told you about my brother, yeah? Something happened. I don't know exactly what. He's been arrested. He's being held at Rikers Island.
And not even sure if he really cares about his brother, even though it says that he really loves him.
Just gotta get him out of there before something bad happens.
Since he's just trying to save him just to get through with his own mistake. Like, dude, what the fuck?
You need another 10 grand. You get another 10 grand, your brother will get out. The truth is, I think something very important is happening and it's deeply connected to my purpose. Every day I think about untwisting and untangling these strings I'm in to lead a pure life. Look ahead in a clear sky. Ain't gonna get there. It's a nice dream. It's a nice dream.
824 is like the best studio right now.
Listen, I gotta come clean with you about that. What? I told you about my brother, yeah? I told you about the program he's forced to attend and how he shouldn't be there. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Do you understand that?
That sums up this whole movie.
Something happened. I don't know exactly what.
Because Connie Niquez always found himself in situations he couldn't get out of.
Killed in this. Just have a client that walked in.
Think about it for a bit.
You get another 10 grand, hold it out. Where are you? How much money can you get right now? Come on, bro. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? What do you think I'm doing this for? I want to get him out tonight.
I really want to watch Marty Supreme. So fucking bad.
Don't be confused. It's just gonna make it worse for me. You ever do time before?
Is your brother okay?
And also the chaotic editing really adds a lot to the film too.
No, you are gonna love it. This place where we are now can be a lot of fun if you let it. You're gonna have a good time.
In conclusion, this was an amazing film as it was just so complex, but just so well written at the same time. And it's just something we just don't get from modern Hollywood anymore because nowadays every film has to be a sequel, prequel, or remake that nobody asked for. And to me, this film was just an absolute masterpiece. As you could tell, that this was made by filmmakers who actually gave a shit about the story they wanted to tell, and they did it perfectly. And I'm just gonna let you know that The next film I'm going to be reviewing is The Hunt, which stars Mads Mikkelsen. And to me, that is an amazing film, and I totally recommend you go check it out. Also, anyway, that's all I got for today. Go away now, and always remember, strike back like a weapon against wokeness.